This is probably the most exciting era of electronic dance music so far. We are witnessing the rise of a new generation of creative artists, and a lot of them are great. EDM festivals are thriving, techno is popular again, and we're getting some insane visuals. It seems like the 2020s is gonna be a remarkable decade for EDM, and many of the artists of this generation have already established their styles. I, for one, am very optimistic about the upcoming years. I think this is a powerful beginning to a new way of experiencing music and live performances. And it seems to me that some of the genres that have a reputation of being more underground are now becoming mainstream, and to me that's a good sign, honestly. It's better for the artists and it's better for the audience. Let's take a deeper look at what's happening in the electronic dance music scene. To get a better understanding of the significance of what's happening in the scene, let's have a quick recap of some key moments in the past 4 decades. The mostly underground techno scene in the late 80s and early 90s, all the hits from the late 90s and early 2000s, people referring to anyone who has anything to do with electronic music as DJs.
But I'm just old now. I can't tell the difference between that dude with the mouse head and the guy you see in like the Gap.
Yeah.
You know, that sad guy just sitting there DJing.
Yeah.
Like a target.
The house music scene and the dubstep scene in the late 2000s and early 2010s, and all the famous collaborations of EDM producers and pop singers. And right now, we're experiencing a new phase of EDM. The music is appreciated by more people than ever before. The scene is not limited to one prominent genre of electronic music at a time. And in terms of promotion, there's probably never been a better time for new talents to get their music across to their audience. Labels are doing a better job at promoting talents, and so are some of the EDM legends. For the last 23 years, Armin van Buuren has been hosting a radio show called A State of Trance, where he plays the latest releases of trance music, and many of the tracks are promotional. Also, deadmau5 has been working with and promoting a lot of talents over the years, the most notable one being Rez, a fellow Canadian producer. They collaborated on a couple of tracks, and last year they announced forming a duo together called RezMau5. This is interesting because in deadmau5's masterclass, there's a part when he talks about scouting for new talents to sign. And he explains that in order to be signed by his label, the artist must have reached a certain level of sufficiency, meaning they should be able to finish their own tracks and albums, they should have been working on their brand, and in short, don't leave a lot of stuff for the label to do for them. And then he mentions Rez as an example, which is of course unquestionable. Rez has her own style of music, and her aesthetics and artworks are very unique, making her stand out as an artist. The competition in music industry has always been high, and having a certain signature look as an artist can help you become more recognizable to the audience. And this signature look can be many different things. It can be your attitude when you're performing live. It can be how you work with visuals. It can be a certain type of outfit or costume. Even simpler things like the kind of artwork that you use for your tracks. It's just important to keep in mind that all those things that you can do, they work better if they fit your style of music. The artists that are currently popping seem to be very savvy about branding. Almost every one of them is doing their own unique thing. And it's safe to assume that we're going to be seeing more of this in the future. This doesn't mean that the previous generations didn't have creative branding. Pretty much every young artist who's doing something cool today has taken some inspiration from the artists before them. But new technology allows creative minds to come up with all sorts of fun ideas. It was technology that provided millions of talents around the globe with DAWs, software that you can make music with. Suddenly everyone had access to full-on professional studios at home. And that opened new doors for millions of talented musicians in spite of comments like this.
Producing changed. They made Logic. They made Fruity Loops. It's called Too Easy. It's called you tell the computer what to program. That's why you see everybody is a producer and a DJ now. But it takes a great producer like me to tell them sounds is garbage. They're fake.
What technology had brought us is one of the huge advantages of our generation, compared to the previous generations who had to go through a lot to make music or do live shows. And of course, if there's one musical genre that makes a perfect match with new technology, it's electronic music. The electronic music scene is so exciting to follow. It's like every day there's a new jaw-dropping thing, and it's just getting better and better. Another interesting thing that's been happening in the recent years is a new wave of techno. Even though techno has always had its hardcore fanbase, it was never really a mainstream genre up until just a few years ago. The new generation of DJs and producers managed to bring more and more people to the live shows and get millions of views online, and basically give the genre the attention that it deserves. This new popularization of techno may not be something that some of the classic hardcore techno fans would appreciate, but in fairness, this is what helps the genre to move forward and make progress. It's something that inspires the younger generations to add their own flavor to the genre. And also, an exciting genre like techno can bring a beautiful diversity to the entirety of EDM. Artists like Charlotte DeVite, Anima, and Sarah Landry, to name a few, have been playing a huge role in making techno more popular than ever before. We are now witnessing a phenomenon that's called the DJ rockstar, where now you have a DJ/producer who not only makes and plays cool sounding music, but their looks and showmanship can also be very appealing to the mass audience. Overall, in terms of the popularity of EDM, everything seems promising. Let's see how things will look in the remaining years of the decade. For now, this was my summary of what's happening in the EDM scene. Let me know which artists do you think deserve more attention in the comments. See you soon.